All right, welcome everybody to the Tuesday, September 17th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and I will start with a roll call on my left.
Jared. Here. Sorry. Weeks.
Kathy, nice to meet you, Harris.
Sean Peterson. John Meyer.
Carla Desjardins.
Ron Silic. Ryan Bray. Give me 1 second.
Oh. Do I need to repeat all that?
No, you don't.
Okay.
First up.
All right, so I'll appoint alternate members. I'm going to appoint Kathy for Lindsay, and we'll start with public hearings. Z 2019-1581 of C&E Holdings, LLC, requesting a special permit for an accessory apartment on property located at 2226 Main Street, Moosup, map 2M, block 66, lot 3, C2 zoning district. Do we have someone speaking for the applicant?
Yes.
Come on up.
Hello, my name is Bill Kucher, the owner of C&E Holdings LLC. My wife and I focus on purchasing apartment buildings in Moosup to fix up and rent out to folks. So the building in question, 2226 Main Street, is the same building where Project Pin just was relocated to. It's technically a 6-unit building. It was always commercial. It was known as the old Marshallville block. A few pictures I can pass around here for reference. And so we purchased this building last November out of foreclosure. So the way it's set up, the food pantry's in the basement. There's 4 commercial units on the ground floor, street level. Then there's an old theater that's been abandoned on the 2nd floor. So on the ground floor, we have 3 of the 4 spaces occupied by commercial tenants. There's a space in the back left corner. It's about 900 square feet. That's been vacant for a very long time. It was formerly a salon, I guess it has its recent use. And what we'd like to do is to put a 2-bedroom apartment there. Biggest reason being the building really isn't conducive to a lot of parking. In the back, there's only really enough spaces for 3 to 4 cars. So with the commercial spaces that are existing in the building, utilizing the street parking, it really doesn't allow enough parking for another business to go into that space. So what we'd like to do is have a 2-bedroom apartment there. It's a great location. There's a separate entrance actually already built into that rear side of the building. And I think it'd be the best space. And like I said, with the parking kind of being an issue, being an old building, there's really no room to expand parking. I think it's the best option.
Okay, so this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who has a comment or question on this application, if you could step up to the microphone, state your name and your question.
I just was going to speak.
Yep, stand up and state your name and your comment.
So my name is Whitney Easton. I live about 4 or 5 houses down from the building. I just came kind of in support of the application. Since Bill has bought it, it already looks much better. He has filled up some empty spots already. He has Project Pin going in the basement unit. And I actually looked at that building about 3 years ago to buy it. And it was kind of the same problem. I went to, I think it was zoning Lusoya, and kind of unofficially kind of spoke to him, said, what can be kind of done here? And he's like, with the way the parking is, it would be really hard to do anything. So I passed on it, but I think it's awesome that he bought it and he's doing something, and he's coming here to seek this variance so that he could do something up there. There's a ton of space up there, and I think it'd be great. So just wanted to come and support him.
Okay, noted, thank you. Anyone else here to speak on this application? Any comments or questions from staff?
You may remember several years ago, somebody else came in for an apartment in generally the same area that was approved. I don't really see a reason why this should not be approved. And 2 parking spaces have been shown on the site plan. Those parking spaces will have to be lined, will have to be striped and marked with signs for residential parking. Also, a light needs to be added in the rear entrance.
Okay. And any comments or questions from board members? Yeah.
What's the occupancy on that apartment?
What do you mean by that?
How big is the unit?
It would be a 2-bedroom. It's about 900 square feet. Yep.
Any other questions? Any other comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by John,
Second.
second by Roz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Moving on to item B, Z 2019-1582 of Tilcon Inc., requesting a map amendment from Industrial 2 to Industrial 1 for property located on Millbrook Road, Plainfield, map 10, block 17, lot 5.
For the record, John Felician Boundaries LLC representing Tilcon on this application for zone change. The property that we're seeking a zone change for is located north of Millbrook Road and west of the railroad and the Plainfield Renewable Energy Project that exists off of Millbrook Road. It is currently zoned I-2. We are proposing to extend the I-1 zone, which exists just to the east of the property, into this 52-acre parcel in an effort to provide an opportunity for future development of that parcel. Initially with an application for earth products excavation, which would subsequently follow this application if we were successful this evening. Once the earth products excavation were completed, the property would then be utilized for additional industrial development. And the I-1 zone, which allows for the excavation under section 9.41L, also provides for multiple opportunities for manufacturing and the potential to take opportunities with the adjacent railway for future reuse of development property. I'd like to submit a copy of the zoning map, which identifies the site and the adjacent I-1 zone that we are proposing to extend. I'd also submit a copy of the aquifer protection map, identifying the site as not within the aquifer protection area. And a copy of your enterprise zone, which this property is a part of. And then lastly, the application is consistent with the plan of conservation and development. It identifies this area as an existing industrial area, and it continues to be so in the plan of conservation and development. So, being consistent with the POCD, and adjacent property that is already zoned I-1, we would ask that the commission consider the rezoning of this property to I-1 also to promote the future development of the property.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the audience who has comments or questions on this application? Just a quick reminder that this is a map amendment request from Industrial 2 to Industrial 1. So the questions should be limited to that map amendment change and not any prospective or possible site plans in the future. Those would come with a later application. This application is purely for a map amendment change from Industrial 2 to Industrial 1. So given that, if there's anyone who has a comment or question on this application, please step up to the microphone and let your comment be heard.
Carla?
Ready?
Yeah. June Gagney, Central Village. I just wonder what it means from Industrial 1 to Industrial 2, exactly what
Sure.
that allows for in the area.
So
It's
just-
for excavation, and I'm
Sure.
concerned
So
there.
as the applicant indicated, when you look at the zoning regulations, the I-2 zone has different uses than the I-1 zone. The I-1 zone allows for earth excavation as well as some manufacturing uses that the I-2 zone does not. So he indicated that was the reason for the request of the change. Any other comments or questions from the audience? Any other comments or questions from staff?
None.
Okay, any comments or questions from board members? Okay, so hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Motion by Sean, second by Kathy. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. Moving on to item C, Z 2019-1596 of Ryder Truck Rental, Inc., requesting a special permit for repair of vehicles at existing facilities on property located at 45 Cemetery Road, Plainfield, map 1P, block 39B, lot 3, I-1 zoning district.
Good evening. I'm Attorney Mike Ceccarulli. I'm with the law firm of Holman and Cumley in Hartford, representing Ryder Truck Rental. This is an existing facility. Ryder conducts fleet repairs at this location for their logistics rentals. They're looking to expand that under new regulations that were approved by this town to allow accessory repair uses for customers, incidental to the underlying use. We've already been to your ZBA. They've granted location approval for this facility. And we're asking this evening for a special permit to allow that new use under the I-1 district. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm sure you know the site on Cemetery Road, south side, near the train tracks.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience with a comment or question on this application, this is your opportunity to step up to the microphone. Okay, hearing none. Any comments from staff?
The only comment that I had was a suggested condition of approval, which you can read through the staff report if you want. We don't go over it now or wait for
I would present it during the public hearing, yes,
during the public hearing.
which we're in. Yep.
Okay. The suggested condition of approval would be to only allow commercial repair service to fleet and commercial industrial vehicles of customers that have current rental or lease agreements with Ryder Truck Rental Incorporated, which is keeping with the amendment that was just approved.
So I guess my question is, if it's in the amendment already, why it needs to be repeated?
It's just good to have it in there on the permit itself.
Yeah.
If it says current, are you referring to only what they have now and not in the future?
No, current meaning at the time they're taking the vehicle for repair, the customer is a current customer.
Okay.
Any other questions on this application? Anything else from the audience? You guys are making my job easy tonight. All right, so hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the public hearing. Motion to close the public hearing by Sean.
Second.
I have a second by Roz. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. Moving on to item D. Z 2019-1600 of Ecos Energy LLC, requesting special permit for construction of a 1 megawatt ground-mounted solar facility on property located on Plainfield Pike, Plainfield, map 17, block 36, lot 37, I-1 zoning district.
Hi, I'm Chris Borlachek.
Madam Chairman, I may have a conflict on this, so
Okay.
we'll just step up a bit.
Okay, so John has recused himself. So in John's place, I will appoint Jared for John.
My name is Chris Borlachek. I'm representing Ecos Energy. So as you know, we've been through this process 2 times, and we're applying for a special use permit for a parcel that is adjacent to another one that we currently own and are building a solar array on, a 1 megawatt solar array. And we're proposing a second 1 megawatt solar array on the abutting property. We already have it zoned as industrial 1. So if you want to take a look at just the proposed array, there's on the left. So we're taking, it's going to cover about maybe 8 acres or so of land. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience with a comment or question, now is your opportunity. Okay. Comments from staff?
Typically, when somebody brings forth an application such as this, they do give a presentation with plans and so that everybody can see what's going on. But we still have many outstanding issues on this, so we will not be able to act on it tonight.
Okay.
So,
I do have some extra plans over here. I just,
you can make a presentation if you'd like, but we do have many outstanding issues that cannot be addressed tonight.
okay.
So we will have to continue this until next month. It's up to you if you'd like to make a presentation tonight or come back next month when you're a little more prepared.
I can,
So after staff review, it appears that certification is needed stating that the town's flood control ordinance has been complied with. The escrow agreement has been reviewed by council and revised, absent the proposed decommissioning plan. Council has reviewed the final draft and approved the language. We are waiting for a copy of the decommissioning plan for the applicant to review. So that will not be done tonight. Final billing for legal review must be paid prior to approval, and a final review of the decommissioning plan has not been performed. So this is not complete. And then also the E&S control bond. The town currently holds a $10,000 cash bond for the construction of Phase 1. A letter from the applicant stating that the same bond can be carried over for use on Phase 2 will suffice for the E&S bond. So given that information from our staff, I would recommend to the board that we take staff's advice and continue the public hearing to our October, is it 8th meeting? October 8th meeting. So is there anyone willing to make that motion?
I make a motion to continue this application until October 8th.
Motion by Sean to continue to October 8th meeting. Kathy seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, this public hearing will be continued to the October 8th meeting. Same place, same time. So at this time, we will reseat John Meyer for the next application. Thank you, Jared, for being here to serve. Item E, Z 2019-1606 of San Romano Properties, LLC, requesting a special permit for an accessory apartment in a commercial building on property located at 1221 Norwich Road, Plainfield, map 5, block 4, lot 42A, C1 zoning district.
I'm Joe Sangamano. I own Sangamano Properties, Canadian Construction, Canadian Equipment. We want to put an apartment up top of the new building we built last year for me and my wife to live in. That's it.
And is there anyone in the audience here to speak on this application? This is also a public hearing. Any comments from staff?
This application does meet the regulations for an apartment in a commercial zone, so I see no reason why it should not be approved.
Any comments or questions from staff?
How big is this apartment? 800 square feet.
Right, any other comments from public, staff, or board members? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the public hearing. Motion by John to close the public hearing. Second by Roz. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
Thanks.
Moving on to item F. Z 2019-1611 of Babcock Avenue LLC and Community Avenue LLC, requesting a special permit for addition to convalescent facility located at 20 Babcock Avenue, Plainfield, map 2P, block 18, lots 6 and 7, and map 2P, block 19A, lots 1 and 3, C2 zoning district.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Greg Claude from Plainfield Engineering Associates. I do have a new set of plans to present that are revised to today's date. Just has one revision, that one that we talked about, Ryan, so there's no major issues. So again, this application is being presented to you before the board tonight in regards to a change in ownership of the villa, which is consistent with the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health's change in ownership requirements. The state issued a consent order that the villa requires, or that they require the facility to upgrade the building and accommodations to meet the current Connecticut Health Code. And in order to proceed with the change of ownership. So we're coming before you to change the ownership of the property and to meet those mandates with the state. With that consent order, the new ownership will also invest in additional improvements to include a new and much-needed therapy space for the purpose of providing additional services to the residents and community and expanding parking and landscaping and further improve the area. It's a great project for the community to improve the facility and enhance the residents' living environment, maintain and grow jobs, and provide additional valuable services to the community at large. What that kind of means is we have rooms, semi-private rooms, that currently do not meet the state's health code for the size of the rooms, the number of occupants in them. We have 62 residents, or 62 beds in the facility now. We're going to maintain those 62 beds, but we are going to do an expansion. The existing facility is kind of the lighter brown that you see here. The proposed expansion is off to the south that we will be proposing. It's a 5,178 square foot addition. That will occupy, there'll be 6 new rooms in that addition, and there will also be a 3,000 square foot therapy space and office for physical therapy, both for, the in-house residents and for outpatient services. To do that, we're currently located on one lot. You probably read into the record, we have 4 lots that we're dealing with here. There are 2 lots here, one that has the main facility. The other lot is an existing lot. I do have a survey map. The other lot basically has a house that's unoccupied at the time. And then there are 2 lots that currently house the parking, which is over on Mill Street. The proposal is to merge these 2 parcels so that we're not going across the property line with the expansion of the building. With the proposal, we'll be providing, the way that the site is set up now, the bulk of the parking is across the street. I know at night times the roads are mostly dead end in this area. There are cars that park in the road to access the facility when they're visiting. There's also a service area to the back that comes off of Reservoir Street. That's where dumpster takes place. There's a few parking spaces there, dumpsters there, laundry. It's mostly service, and also ambulances are used to bring in patients in and out. We're going to maintain that area, but we're going to create a new driveway off of Babcock Avenue that will service the new facility, or the new addition. That will contain 6 parking spaces. 4 of them will be handicapped. And that will be for the outpatient services and for any other thing, because outpatient services will happen during the daytime. And then at nighttime, the parking can be used for visiting spaces as well. There will be a ramp system to meet the ADA to get into the building. That's in front of it here. That's the proposal. We will have to widen the existing driveway out to Babcock Avenue, basically double the size of it. That does require us to cut away the sidewalk at that area, create a ramp for going through the sidewalk. That's the one note that we added to the plan. That's the only change tonight. We had forgotten to label that. We graphically showed it, but we didn't have the label on for it. So that was the one thing that we did there. As far as drainage, we did supply a drainage report to the planning department. It was prepared by Norman Tebow, who is my business partner and a civil engineer. We have 2 different areas of water that we're dealing with. Some of it's the roof for the proposed addition, and then also this new parking lot that we're creating. What we did with our drainage design is, off the parking lot, we have sheet flow off of the parking lot to a detention area, a small detention area, basically a detention, a small depression in the ground. When that overflows, it is swaled around the building into another detention area that's just outside of the flood zone, because there is a flood zone associated with Horse Brook. That just comes in, that's the this line here that you see that's representing the 100-year flood zone. But we're out of that. We kept all of our activities out of that. The depression will handle the rest of the water. The roof water and some of the roof water from the existing facility that come out to this area now will be piped into an underground leaching chamber area, which is under the parking lot here. All of these things have been designed in accordance with the 25-year storm event. We're not adding to any of the offlow off of the site for that, and we meet the DEP's requirements for the water quality for the first inch of rainwater, so on the design that was submitted. So that's what we're doing with drainage. We are going to redo the parking a little bit back here where we're going to restripe it. This is in the loading side of things off of Reservoir. We are going to provide a new dumpster pad screened with a fence and also screened with some plantings to hide that from visibility to others. And then there will be 5 spaces that are over there in that area. Those will be basically employee spaces. Over here, I already talked about having the parking that we would be creating there, which would all be handicapped accessible. We did provide along the abutting neighbors to the south. For screening, we've provided a 6-foot-high vinyl fence, and we have arborvitae plantings all along that to provide, again, screening from the neighbors and to meet the requirements of the regulations. We do have variances that were granted in the past for this property. One of those variances is in regards to the size of the property. So even though we don't meet the 2-acre requirement, a variance was granted back in 2008 to allow the minimum area to be reduced to 7,000 square feet. And I have the note on the plan regarding that with the volume and page noted. We also have a variance that was granted regarding setbacks, and the side yard setbacks were reduced to a 0-foot side yard. We're not providing that against any of our neighbors, but we do have that one area in here which is currently owned by the existing facility. There's another lot that will remain on its own, and that's the one that I don't have colored up. There are 2 buildings on that. So we have the kitchen area that's already just a little bit above that 0. It's under a foot, but it's not over the property line. And then also the creation of this one. This would be considered the side yard as well. It's an extension of the same thing. So we're meeting that requirements. We also have proposed a kitchen addition that's up in this front area of the building. And it's just a small area. Right now it's 179 square feet. The kitchen area is very small, so it's just an area to have a little bit more room. We don't have full plans on that of what that will look like at this point, but it's just to get it so that we can have the ability to build that one, because they do want to expand that kitchen area a little bit. I do have architectural plans. To the rear of the section, rear of the sheets, and they show the proposed floor plan. And so we have 6 bedroom areas with the main hallway. They'll be attached to the main hallway in the existing facility. And then we have our 3,000 square foot, which is at the end of the building, which will be the physical therapy area with a physical therapy office. And these are some of the elevations of what it would look like down at the bottom here that the architect has provided. It'll be in keeping with what's currently there. It'll be a similar build, similar design with a peaked roof. We are trying to keep it in conformance with what was. That is sheet number 4 of 8. What we're showing first is that there is going to be a construction fence, there'll be a metal type fencing, temporary fencing, that will be put around the construction area. This is both to protect anybody in the neighborhood and also since the facility is running at the same time. And then they'll saw cut a bit of the pavement off of the back maintenance area. They would remove the trees. They're going to construct we're going to have a construction entrance that comes out onto Reservoir Street. That's similar to where we are exiting now. There'll be a construction entrance, so we're not tracking any materials into the town's road. And we will also have a line of hay bales that will be installed along Reservoir. So any kind of flow. It does generally flow in that direction. During construction, that'll prevent it. There's also a trench drain along reservoir it's associated with the facility. We're going to provide a silt sock around that so that any fines that may be flowing down during a heavy event will not get into the town's storm drain system. So we do have a note and a detail for that. Once they have this site, separated from the rest of the site, they would commence with their general construction. And they'll obviously, when they're doing the interior, once they build this building first, then they would move residences into the new section, then close off a section inside the building and work on 6 rooms to try to bring it up to date. It's going to have to be, a little bit at a time.
What's the anticipated timeline, start to finish?
24 months to go in.
24 months, and when do you propose to start?
As soon as possible.
And are the phases divided out into timeframes?
We have, yes, into two basic timeframes. The first initial timeframe would be for the initial construction, and then the second phase would be to do the inside work of the existing facility.
This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who has a comment or question on this application, please step up to the microphone, state your name and your comment or question.
Thermal, L&L Associates next door to the project. And I'm kind of surprised that we haven't had the opportunity to look over any maps. I understand he's got a 0 side yard, or I'm assuming 0 means you can come up to my boundary. Is that correct?
Could you point out on the map where the 0 side yard is?
Yeah, the only place where we have 0 side yard is right here where we're proposing it. And that's up against Community Avenue. I'm not familiar with where your property is.
L&L, Lane to the south.
You're to the south, and which one is yours? L&L, so you're the apartment building?
Right.
Right, we're not going 0 to your property line.
Okay, that's what I'm...
And we're providing a fence and screening along that property.
And if I'm correct, the property where the 0 is property also owned by your applicant?
Correct.
So it's not, okay.
Correct.
It's the blonde, right?
Yes.
What is the side yard on that area?
Building in that area will be approximately 15 feet from the property line.
From the property?
Yes.
15?
15 feet, yes.
And the other question I've got is, you said you're going to have other uses, like more traffic coming in and out. Do you have any idea of how much of an increase that is in that area? Where's that driveway you said you're going to come in?
Driveways, there's already an existing driveway now that services the facility. We're just going to be widening it. So there'll be 6 spaces there for outpatient physical therapy. It's only anticipated that there would be 1 additional at a time or 2 additional at a time. So it would be very minimal traffic. It would not impact the road any.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Bruce Disco, current owner operator, Bill Anderson. We currently employ about 78 full part-time employees. This expansion and update would also increase the amount of jobs that we have in town, as well as keeping them in town. Also would update the facility and bring it up to current standards required by the state of Connecticut. The existing building is currently grandfathered with the state of Connecticut. This will make it more state-of-the-art and more welcoming for new patients and new residents.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
Good evening. Jonathan Beck from Norwich. I'm presently the maintenance manager at Villa Maria. I just want to say first and foremost that this is incredible. I think this is going to be really good for Plainfield. The rehabilitation thing that I've seen through the new ownership's facilities now up in the Killingly area are phenomenal. I think this is very positive. Obviously, it's a trek. It's going to take a little while for everything to come to fruition, but I believe that through the architectural safety, everything. I think this is a very, very positive thing. I started there 6 months ago, and believe me, they're very good at what they do, and this is only going to expand and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience with comment or question on this application?
I do have a letter that was handed to me before the meeting.
Oh, okay. So entering for the record, letter dated September 12th, 2019. Good evening, my name is Bernie McNiff of 34 Babcock Ave, Plainfield. I would like to say that I am in favor of the addition to the Villa Maria Nursing and Rehabilitation. I was recently a tenant of Bruce and Cindy Disco's and have found the Disco family and the Villa Maria to be extremely accommodating to myself and my family. They were diligent in caring for their property and tenants in their rental houses. Thank you, signed Bernie McNiff. So enter that for the record, if anyone wants to see that. Any other public comments? Any comments from staff?
Just a few things. As they will be cutting the curb for the new driveway, a driveway permit will be required for that. Silt fence is to be installed along the southern property line during construction. Granite curbing will be cut to match the existing granite or replaced in kind, and that is for the new entrance. ADA warning pads are to be installed on the new entrance because I don't think that they're now, however, it's a residential driveway, but as it's going to be commercial, we'll want the warning pads in there. And the entrance at the sidewalk is to meet all ADA requirements for school.
Any comments or questions from board members? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion by Sean to close public hearing. Seconded by John. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Moving on to the regular meeting, I will call the meeting to order. We do have the opportunity for citizen participation. This is if anyone wanted to address the board outside of the public hearing that we've already gone through. Okay. Unfinished old business. Z 2019-1581 of C&E Holdings LLC requesting a special permit for an accessory apartment on property located at 2226 Main Street, Moosup, map 2M, block 66, lot 3, C2 zoning district. Do we have any items for discussion on this application? I believe the only note during the public hearing was about the entrance light that must be installed at the side entrance.
Parking spots.
And marking parking spots. So marking parking spots as residential.
Make a motion.
So I have a motion from Sean to, okay, so I have a motion from Sean to approve with the two conditions. The entrance light must be installed at the side entrance and marking the parking spots as residential. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kathy. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, special permit is approved. Moving on to item B. Z 2019-1582 of Tilcon Inc. requesting a map amendment from Industrial 2 to Industrial 1 for property located on Millbrook Road, Plainfield, map 10, block 17, lot 5. Any items for discussion?
Essentially, what it does is it expands the industrial one. So, still connected to the larger industrial one area. And it does open that portion of the town up to further industrial development, which generally leads to increased grand list and employment here. So I think those are beneficial. And the site would have to be graded anyway, so removal of earth products seems appropriate.
And the earth excavation would require a special permit, so they would have to come back here for that regardless. And then looking at the differences between the I-1 and I-2, the major difference is the level of manufacturing that is allowed in the I-1 versus the I-2.
In the areas outside of the act.
Mhm.
And the only thing residential is, there's really none there. Is there any across the street residential?
I think noted. There are 3 RA60 parcels to the north. One is vacant, owned by the town. One is the town's village plant, WPCA, and the third is an agricultural field. So those are to the north.
So the WPCA is the south plant? Yes. We own this parcel there, it's not Plainfield. Lowe's is currently industrial one, industrial one, purple's industrial one, pink's industrial, I'm sorry, industrial two, pink's industrial one.
And there is a note in the plan of conservation and development that indicates that when possible, to leave the industrial 2 because of the extra consideration for the aquifer. I think it's been shown that it's not impactful via the maps. And then it is in the enterprise zone, which encourages more development in that area. Are there any other comments or items for discussion on this application?
I make a motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. That would require a effective date, given it's a map change.
October 1.
Okay, so I have a motion by John to approve the map amendment with an effective date of October 1st, 2019. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Roz. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, application is approved with an effective date of October 1. So we'll see you again for that special permit.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item C, Z 2019-1596 of Ryder Truck Rental requesting special permit for repair of vehicles at existing facility on property located at 45 Cemetery Road, Plainfield, map 1P, block 39B, lot 3, I-1 zoning district. Items for discussion on this application. So the only suggestion from staff was the condition of approval to emphasize that the only commercial repair, to only allow commercial repair service to fleet commercial and industrial vehicles of customers that have a current rental or lease agreement with Ryder Truck Rental.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Did you want that condition included?
Yes.
Okay, so a motion by Sean to approve with the condition as stated. A second by John. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Application is approved. Item D, Z 2019-1600 of Ecos Energy has been continued to October. Moving on to item E, Z 2019-1606 of Sangamon Properties, LLC, requesting special permit for an accessory apartment in commercial building on property located at 1221 Norwich Road, Plainfield, map 5, block 4, lot 42A, C1 zoning district. Any items for discussion?
I think it's a reasonable request, meets all our standards. Make a motion.
Motion by John. Do I have a second? Second by Sean. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, application is approved. Item F, Z 2019-1611 of Babcock Avenue, LLC and Community Avenue, LLC, requesting a special permit for addition to convalescent facility located at 20 Babcock Avenue, Plainfield, map 2P, block 18, lots 6 and 7, map 2P, block 19A, lots 1 and 3, C2 zoning district. Items for discussion.
Well, this is going to result in a significant improvement of a needed facility.
facility
and state mandated.
and state mandated, yes.
What I said, they've come up with all the standards that they need to meet too.
And it appears the only encroachment they have is on themselves, so.
So, yeah, I think it's a good thing for the community, and aside from being mandated. But, I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve by John.
Would you like me to approve the conditions of approval?
Oh,
What was that?
would you like to amend to include the conditions of approval? So there were notes from staff.
I added a couple more during the hearing after reviewing the.
Then please, Ryan. Item for discussion.
It's just what I said during the public hearing, but item one, the silt fence is being installed along the southern property line during construction. Pretty sure it was there, just want to make sure it's there. Driveway permit for the new entrance on Babcock will be required. Granite curving will be cut to match the existing granite or replaced in kind. ADA warning pads are to be installed at the entrance on Babcock, and that entrance, the sidewalk shall also meet all ADA requirements for slope. I'll amend my motion to include Ryan's.
Conditions as stated. Okay, so I have an amended motion by John to include the conditions as stated by Ryan.
I'll second.
I have a second by Sean. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Z 2019-1620 of Peter Higgins requesting a special permit for gravel excavation on property located at 1327 Norwich Road, Plainfield, map 5, block 4C, lot 9, RA30 zoning district. Ryan, am I correct that this application is incomplete?
It is currently incomplete, and they have requested us to not schedule for public hearing at this time.
Okay. So we would continue this to October. So we are not going to schedule for public hearing. It will remain on the agenda as new business. Or would it move to old?
It'll go to old business.
All right, it'll move to old business. So I'll entertain a motion to continue that as old business at our next meeting. Motion by Roz. Do I have a second? I have a second by Kathy. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so continued old business October. Item B, Z 2019-1621 of Matthew Hogan requesting a site plan review to clear trees, earthwork and grading for construction of paved driveway, gravel storage areas, and installation of retaining wall on property located at 6 Center Parkway, Plainfield, map 17, block 11, lots I-23 and I-24, IP zoning district.
And this application has been withdrawn. We have retained the $260 application fee, but I say that we could continue or transfer that application fee to a new permit should be brought forth.
Okay. All right, moving on to item 7, reviewing and acting on the minutes from the August 13th meeting. I had no changes. Did anyone have any modifications or changes to the minutes? No? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes.
Motion to approve is written.
Okay, I have a motion to approve from John. Second by Sean. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Item 8, correspondence.
We have
No correspondence. Report from zoning enforcement.
all right. 26 Suzie Ave is still on the report. There has been a very minor amount of improvement over there, possibly by the former property owners removing some of their belongings from the.
Excuse me one moment, Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen in the hallway, if you could take your conversation just a little further away so it didn't pick up on our mic, that would be great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ryan. I don't need no speaking microphone. Go ahead, Ryan, thank you.
All right, so there was a slight bit of improvement to the property, but I think it was because the property owners came back and reclaimed some of their belongings. Our town council has contacted the attorney representing the bank, who is now the property owner. He contacted them yesterday and has not heard back. So we're still working to try to get that cleaned up. Community Ag Extension, we have the most processing facility. They did have some issues with the entrance deteriorating and also tracking dirt onto the road. I met with them out there in July. They were going to be improving the site, putting an anti-tracking pad in along with some asphalt for the apron. They have not done so, so I'm going to be contacting them and telling them that either they get it done in the next month or so, or we'll be issuing a notice of violation. 29 Masley Road, excessive dogs, possible breeding. The animal control officer has been working on that, and she is looking to possibly bring in state animal control, and she'll be updating me, and could fall into a violation, or she may be able to take care of herself. 681 Norwich Road, S&P Ventures for a dump truck trailer paving box parked behind a commercial building. I informed them that they had to come in for a site plan review if they wanted to park back there. I did meet with their engineer today, and they are in the works of getting plans together. So I saw preliminary plans today, and hopefully we'll have a application in next month. And that'd be it. Oh, no, one more. Squaw Rock Road, excessive chickens. The property owner did come in, said that she is in the process of moving in the near future, so she is reducing the amount of birds that she has. She was supposed to get me on the property to do an inspection, however, that did not occur, so I'll be attempting to contact her. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sean?
The donation box down here, has that been resolved?
That is removed, yes.
It's removed.
So the report from Planning and Zoning Department, unfortunately Mary Ann was ill and could not be with us tonight. Under her notes, she indicated there's no update on the village visioning sessions at this time. For the Annex SHPO Survey Planning Grant Project, the final report has been provided and it's been uploaded to the town's website and Facebook page. The document will be valuable as we move forward to implement the recommendations and bring the building back to life. Moosup Village National Register Historic District nomination. She indicates we have the support of the State Historic Preservation Officer regarding moving forward with the nomination. The next step would be to hire a consultant to prepare the nomination. However, the charge for this service would be between $20,000 and $50,000. During these difficult budgetary times, we will need grant funding assistance to accomplish this project. Therefore, it appears it will be postponed until the next budget year, and staff will continue to seek a no-match required grant until then. Further updates will be provided as they become available. And then lastly, she indicates the CDBG Housing Rehab Program. The Town Housing's Rehab Program, which has been inactive for a number of years, is now revived, and applications are available on the town's website, Facebook page, and in hard copy at the town hall. Thus far, 7 applications have been processed, of which 4 have been deemed ineligible or the applicant withdrew. There are 3 moving forward in the process, and they encourage qualifying homeowners to take advantage of this program. And then that concludes. So, hearing no other business on our agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
A motion by Sean to adjourn. Second by John. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Under an hour.